They wanted you to scream. They wanted your anger. They expected you to break. But you gave them silence. And that silence, that was power. That silence, that was fire. That silence, that was victory. Because silence is louder than noise. Silence speaks in a language egos cannot handle. Silence crushes arrogance. I've learned that when you respond, they win. But when you go quiet, they panic. Because your silence confuses them. Your silence disturbs their comfort. It makes them question their strength. It makes them tremble in doubt. They wanted your reaction. They fed off your pain. They smiled when you cried. But when you smiled and stayed silent, that's when the game changed. That's when the storm began. For them. You see, silence isn't weakness. It's a weapon. It's strategy. It's a shield and a sword. Some battles are won without saying a word. And silence is the most deafening scream, especially when you walk away without looking back. Priyanka Chopra didn't climb the ladder by screaming back. She walked in silence with dignity. Let them mock, let them hate, let them doubt, but never let them disturb your peace. Silence protects your soul. Silence builds mystery. And mystery destroys egos because they can't figure you out. They don't know if you're hurt or if you're healing. They don't know if you're weak or stronger than ever. That's your superpower. That's your edge. The loudest person in the room isn't the strongest. The one who smiles in silence is. And that silent strength, that scares people. They try to shake you, they try to provoke you, they test your patience. But don't let them in. Don't give them access. Don't give them a reaction. Because silence is control. And control is everything. Never beg for validation, never explain your worth. You're not a performer. You're not a puppet. You're a queen. And queens don't argue with fools. Queens don't explain their thrones. They rule in silence. They watch. In silence, they win. In silence. Ego cannot survive silence. It feeds on chaos. It feeds on your need to explain. So stop explaining. Stop clarifying. Stop justifying. Let your success speak. Let your peace speak. Let your silence choke them. Because when you stay silent, they're forced to look inward. They're forced to face their own emptiness. Remember, not every insult deserves a reply. Not every lie deserves a defense. Don't waste energy proving yourself. Use that energy to build yourself. Walk with grace. Speak only when it's time to make history. The rest, stay silent. Stay focused. Let them talk. Let them spin stories. While they gossip, you grow. While they hate, you hustle. While they plan your fall, you prepare for your rise. That's the power of silence. It's discipline. It's self-respect. It's spiritual armor. Because some people don't deserve your words. They only deserve your absence. If they think they've won, let them. Smile. Move on. Your progress will haunt them. Your growth will expose them. Your silence will punish them. It will burn their ego from the inside. And you won't even need to say a word. You are powerful without sound. You are fire without flame. So hold your head high. Hold your tongue and hold your peace. Because silence is self-mastery. Silence is emotional intelligence. Silence is unbothered elegance. Silence isn't retreat, it's a quiet rebellion. The calm before your next breakthrough. Let your actions do the talking. Let your walk make the noise. Let your silence say everything. Because when you stop responding, you stop feeding their ego. And that's when they lose control. They crumble in confusion. They wonder why you don't care. And they suffer. Not because you shouted, but because you didn't. That's how you win. That's how you rise. No drama, no scene, just silence, just power, just peace, just confidence. That's what Priyanka teaches. She walks away from noise. She invests in peace. She doesn't argue with envy. She doesn't fight over seats. She builds her own table and invites no drama. You can do the same. Don't beg for attention. Don't cry for approval. Be the storm in silence. Be the queen in stillness. Let them feel your absence. Let them fear your presence. Your silence is sacred. Don't waste it on noise. Protect it like treasure. Defend it like a crown. Because in silence, you heal. In silence, you transform. In silence, you evolve. Every time you choose silence, you reject chaos. You choose growth. You honor yourself. You break their cycle. You end their power. Because ego thrives on conflict, but dies in silence. And you're not their ego boost. You're their silent lesson. Speak with your success. Speak with your glow. Speak with your boundaries. And when they cross the line, say nothing. Leave, elevate, and never look back. They want to fight. They crave a reaction because your silence threatens them. It shows you're in control. And control, that shakes egos. Egos want attention. Egos need applause. Egos feed off chaos. But you're too wise for that. You've outgrown noise. You've evolved beyond pettiness. You've discovered peace in stillness. And they hate that because your silence says you no longer have power over me. It says, I'm not who I used to be. Silence tells them you've healed, that you've walked through fire. And now you carry flames, quiet ones, dangerous ones. You see, silence intimidates the insecure. It exposes their need to be seen. While you no longer need the spotlight because you are the light. And that glows loudest in silence. Silence is a mirror. It forces them to face themselves. And what they see, it terrifies them. That's not your fault. That's their ego crumbling. You never raised your voice. You never insulted them. You just disappeared. You just glowed quietly. And they couldn't handle it. Why? Because people who are loud with ego are small on the inside. And your silence made them feel it. Priyanka Chopra says, you don't have to shout to be strong. You don't have to explain your strength or scream your success. Just walk silently. Just keep showing up. Keep glowing. Let them wonder. Let them worry. Because silence makes them uneasy. Especially when you're successful. Especially when you're unbothered. Especially when you're not affected anymore. You no longer defend your worth. You no longer shrink to fit them. You rise above in silence. That's what powerful women do. That's what leaders do. That's what queens do. They don't argue with peasants. They don't clap back. They just exit with grace. Let them gossip. Let them invent stories. Let them scream. You just keep building. You keep smiling. You keep leveling up without a word. That silence is your boundary. That silence is your armor. Because not everyone deserves access. Not everyone earns a response. Silence is sacred. Protect it. Use it wisely. It will save your energy. It will protect your peace. And most importantly, it will confuse your enemies. They expected you to crumble. They expected tears. Instead, they got silence. A smile and a closed door. You don't owe anyone anything. Not your voice, not your pain, not your explanation, just your absence. Silence says, you no longer matter here. And that truth, that shatters ego, because ego thinks it owns you. But you've taken your power back. With silence, with dignity, with self-control. That's real growth. That's real strength. That's what they can't handle. Not your voice, but your restraint. They say, she's changed. Yes, you have. You're no longer available for disrespect. You've upgraded your peace. You've protected your spirit. And you've mastered the art of walking away. Quietly. That's powerful. That's inspiring. Priyanka did it. You can do it too, because silence isn't empty. It's full of meaning. It's full of grace. It's full of power. Learn to say more by saying less. Smile, not walk away. Let your energy speak. Let your glow respond. Let your silence echo. Because that echo, it screams louder than words. And it haunts louder than arguments. You owe them nothing. No closure, no revenge, no debate. You owe you peace. And peace lives in silence. They wanted chaos. You gave them calm. They wanted drama. You gave them distance. They wanted fire. You gave them ice. You chose maturity. You chose stillness. You chose to rise without reaction. That is divine. That is rare. That is queen energy. You're too focused to fight. Too healed to hate, too silent to sink. You're rising quietly. You're glowing privately. You're winning silently. And they're watching, confused, frustrated, intimidated. Let them be. That's their karma, not your concern. You don't need revenge. You don't need to shout. You just need to keep going. Without a sound, without a word. Because every step you take, quietly, is a step they feel. Every success you reach without them hurts their pride. That's the power of letting go. That's the power of detachment. That's the power of silence. When you heal, you don't scream. You whisper to yourself, I deserve better. And then you leave. You rebuild, you shine, you thrive. Priyanka once said, don't chase people, be yourself. And in your silence, become more yourself, unshaken, unapologetic, undeniable. Silence is self-respect. Silence is growth. Silence is your crown. Wear it with pride. Don't look back. Don't argue. Don't break character. Stay silent. Stay powerful. Stay untouchable. Because your silence isn't weakness. It's your final answer. And that answer will destroy their ego.